because I have weekend commitments basically through all of February and March, but I have the 19th off. So
Oh, well, there you
that's
go.
why. Yeah.
Let's do the 19th then. Tell everybody else they can suck it. I think I can say that, right? That's not a problem.
Sure, you can say it.
I'm allowing them to. I'm inviting them to, hey, this is something you can do. Seems
I like
nice.
I like that you have your dungeon master background going.
Yeah, that was an accident, but here we are, and I'm just going to stick with it. Here's something I've been doing that I find fun.
Yeah.
I've been moving my hair around the headphones so that I have floppy Paul hair. It's been working out pretty well. Now, Ben, let me ask you a question.
Yes.
Uh, had my TikTok gone viral before our last recording?
Yeah, we basically spent the entire show talking about it.
Okay. So I've got over 1 million views now, almost 2 million.
And we're going to spend the entire show today talking about it, too.
And I'm not going to talk about it any more than that. Um, so how are things in Seattle right now? What's going on snow wise? Is there any?
There's no snow. It's cold. Off and on rain. But I have a friend who's actually a family member who doesn't live in Seattle, but leans very rightward.
Mm-hmm.
They live east of the mountains. This is where all the Republicans live in the state.
Yes.
And posted a video of a city near the capital of Washington State,
Mm-hmm.
driving down a road, and there's just RVs parked along the road. It's like all these houseless people are camping out on the side of this road, and it looked like it was a road in the middle of nowhere. Right? It wasn't like in the
Mm-hmm.
middle of downtown. It was just this back road that people just decided to congregate. And the guy taking the video was like, "Look at this mess. This is Biden's America, people." And I'm like, I don't think these people are homeless because of President Biden. And it just kind of frustrates me that that's one of the talking points of Republicans is they spend 4 years destroying everything, and then when a Democrat gets into power, they blame it on the Democrats. I mean,
There
I'm
is
sort of
a
shouting into the wind at this point, but it's just every once in a while like that comes across my feed, and I just get tired of hearing it.
there's a video, or not a video, but a movie which I'm sure you've probably heard of before, called Repo Man. Have you seen it?
I have seen Repo Man.
Do you remember Harry Dean Stanton driving around looking at the homeless people going, if only there was a way we could figure out how much they owe?
I do not remember that specific part.
Oh, there's a part like that, and it reminds me of that. Oh my goodness. Ben, this laptop that I have,
Yeah.
the screen is a touch screen.
Cool. Be careful.
How be careful how.
Don't shut your meeting off accidentally because you touched the touch screen.
Oh, okay, yeah. But no, I just happened to accidentally touch the screen, and the cursor moved, and it's like magic, Ben. Like I'd be looking to see if I need to wake up at this point. I don't, but that's what I'd be looking for.
So Steven is watching. He says he's watching despite our best efforts and your hurtful comments. I don't know what that's referring to.
Um,
But he says he's actually still in a silly day job meeting, but he's watching or listening to the show. So thank you for watching, Steven.
wait, did he say Paul's hurtful comments or just your hurtful comments?
Paul's hurtful
Wow.
comments.
Did I say something bad
Did you say something?
about
Did
Steven?
you irritate our one
I can't
listener?
think of anything that I said bad. Is it something that happened during D&D that he was mad about?
I think it's just a general weird, overly
Or
hostile
just me
towards
being mean about
anybody.
the audience in general.
Yeah, I think that's it. I think it's just more of like we don't care about who listens to the show in the moment. We only care about people who listen to the show 30 years from now when this show gets
Oh yeah,
unearthed
that
after
is
the post-apocalyptic war.
because I've said it before. I'm just going to say it again.
It's the war
Stephen
after the
McCandless is a
apocalypse.
wonderful person, and I like him very much. I do have somewhat of an antagonistic relationship with some members of my TikTok audience.
The ones you banned for calling you for comparing.
Well, this is
you to
the
people
thing
you
is
don't like?
Jennifer said, well, why don't you well, she didn't say, okay, I need to make this clear to myself. She never said to engage with them. In fact, what she said was, why do you care so much?
Yeah.
And but then she also said, you don't know where they're coming from, right? And so what I started to do was I started to write to people. And whenever they would call me Ron Jeremy, I would say Ron Jeremy is in jail, awaiting trial for 34 counts of sexual assault. I do not like being compared to him. And often people write back and go, oh man, I'm sorry. I didn't mean anything by it. I just thought, which is great. But then I ran into a guy who was like, you're like too many other people on this app. Sensitive as Charmin. And if you don't want to be called Ron Jeremy, don't do a mashup of Low while looking like him, which I thought was interesting.
Right.
And that's something that I've heard before. Like people made fun of my hair when I was in high school. And I said, I don't like it when you make fun of my hair. And they're like, well, then get a haircut. Like that was the only option. Them being kind wasn't on the table, you know, or whatever.
It's the onus is on you to keep them from insulting you.
Exactly. And so after I read that, I of course banned him and blocked him. And
that's censorship.
Oh yeah, that's true. Free for America, First Amendment. But the thing is that Jennifer made a point that I hadn't been clocking. And what he said was, you're too sensitive, like a lot of people on this app. Meaning that he's had people tell him before that they've hurt his feelings. And she said, what you did was you hurt his feelings by telling him that he hurt your feelings. And I thought that was interesting. That this guy is living in a world where people are always mean to him.
Well,
all he's doing is making jokes.
All he's doing is making jokes at people's expense because of the way they look. Sometimes they can't control the way they look.
Right, but isn't it funny? The way people look is funny.
Well, it's that typical like childhood bully sort of I'm making fun of you to feel better about myself kind of thing.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and this is one of the things I talked about with her. You and I, we were part of the sketch comedy world, but we weren't really sketch comedians.
Correct.
And so, and in sketch comedy, there's a thing where you don't drop the joke, right? There's not a time when people are bantering back and forth where you can go, actually, my dad used to say things similar to that, and I had not a great relationship with him. And when you say that, it makes me think about that. And now he's dead, and I can't talk to him anymore, and I feel sad. You can't do that,
right? Yeah.
In a comedy group. So instead, it's like, yeah, that's what your mom said last. Whatever. You're constantly making jokes.
Constantly.
And my awakening, and I hate to bring it up, but and you know what I'm going to talk about. There's a point in time where you and I had a joke that we had in our Tacoma song.
Yep.
And we had I'm not gonna do the joke. I'm just gonna talk about the thing.
Yeah.
We talked about someone who did not have any appendages. Their appendages were
lower appendages.
Lower appendages.
Well, they had arms.
This
they did
person
not have this
person, but the person in our story,
right? The person
didn't
in the song,
have any appendages.
Correct.
But this person being in the audience, and we saw them before the thing, we were like, we can't do that. That is not something that we can do, and we didn't do it. But the fact that we didn't do it messed up all the rehearsal.
It screwed us up. But I mean, you don't. You didn't mention that we didn't see this person. We had to be told that this person was in the audience. We probably would have gone on.
I forgot about that. Do you know who told us?
It was Gavin. We were actually rehearsing the song for Gavin Cummins, and when we get done, he's like, "You guys do realize that there is a audience member who has no legs tonight." And we were like, that was during intermission. We were second to last, so we had probably 20 minutes to come up with a new lyric and think of the new lyric. And yeah, it screwed us up. We actually had to stop and restart during our performance.
And Michael Hayes, who was on the board at the time, did some light things and it made it work. It did not work great, no. But it made it work better than it did. But the thing is that from that point forward, I think it was sort of a sea change where we're like, oh wait, we would consider things a little bit more.
Yeah, but in that piece's defense, and I'm not defending it because it's terrible, but it was sort of written to be provocative. Right,
and
we weren't trying to be like a shock comedian. We weren't trying to be Eminem, but it was sort of like taking GudeLaurance out of their sort of like shell and like seeing how dirty we could be.
Right, and that was our mistake. We should have stayed in our shell the entire time.
Learned our lesson.
But the thing is that had we gone on, had we done it, and then found out afterwards.
I'd still feel terrible about that.
I would still feel terrible about it. And if that person would have come up to us after the show and said, "Hey, you said this thing. I just want you to know that wasn't cool. I was offended." If we went, "Hey, that's the joke, baby."
Right.
What are you so
I'm
upset about?
sorry you were offended.
Right. That. So,
also, I mean, going back and thinking about that song, we weren't making fun of this person. We were saying that they were somebody who would be attractive to somebody who lived in Tacoma.
It's but you see, Ben, at drawing the distinction between the being attractive to someone living in Tacoma and being attractive anywhere else.
I know.
Yeah. I know that you now were doing a bit as well. Yeah. This is the other thing. This is the thing about satire, Ben. We've talked about it before. Satire is dead because there are people like the people that you're lampooning now. You can't go too far anymore. There's no indicator that unless people know you personally, there's no indicator that you aren't just saying your actual thoughts.
Right.
These days.
I mean, that was sort of the thing with Andy Kaufman, right? He was playing this character, but nobody ever really knew that he was. They like his, wrestling, I'll wrestle any woman. Everybody just thought he was a misogynistic freak who just wanted to beat women up, where he was actually, I don't know, like proving a point, maybe, but like playing this character.
His thing where he explained soap to the people of Tennessee, for example. Yeah. I'm from Hollywood, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Just crazy. But yeah, then who was the real guy? Nobody knows. I was obsessed with Andy Kaufman when I was talking to somebody about this actually, because in college I wanted to like find out everything I could about him, and the World Wide Web had not been established yet. YouTube wasn't a thing. All that. So I actually was at the library. What's that?
You might have been able to get on some Usenet groups back in when were you in college?
Yeah. Telnet was there.
Telnet, yeah.
Usenet and all that. But I actually went to the library and pulled up articles about him on Microfiche and printed them out.
I used a Microfiche machine once when I was in college, and that was enough. I don't know how people find stuff on microfilm.
Oh yeah, it's interesting stuff. The other thing is, professional wrestling. Also, I was kind of obsessed with it because it was a real place where fantasy and reality merged. The wrestlers being in character on news programs and things like that was a big deal. Very interesting. But the one thing that you may not know, I don't know, because I don't know how much you got into wrestling when you went into it. Before wrestling became televised, back when it was just a circuit where people would show up and wrestle and stuff like that, who won would sometimes depend upon the demographics of the city that they were in. And the idea that one person was the world wrestling champion and all that, who had which belt and all that was not always set in stone as much as it is now. For a while, the venue that you went to would have a title match no matter which people were wrestling, that sort of thing.
I don't know the history of wrestling. The only reason I ever saw wrestling, like featuring Hulk Hogan, Roddy Piper, Andre the Giant, is because every like once a month they would preempt Saturday Night Live for the WWF. So really? I would just end up watching it. Oh yeah, did they not do that in your market?
No, in our market, wrestling was on Channel 11. And Saturday Night Live was on Channel 5. So it never happened. We've talked about this before, but I actually saw Almost Live for a little bit in Illinois when I
was actually on the show when they were local, or when they were national.
So, oh my gosh, Ben, maybe I saw you in that and didn't even think about it.
Maybe. I remember, so yeah, I had my internship there when the show was national, and that meant that every once in a while they would rewrite a sketch specifically for the national broadcast, because not everybody knows where Ballard is.
Yeah,
but I was it was like the first Saturday where I was going to be on the show, and I'm probably freaking out. I'm probably just sitting in the corner in the office, probably not going over my lines because there are cue cards. But I think I looked nervous. The director comes up and he's like, "How you doing?" I'm like, "I'm all right." He's like, "Well, just remember that 3 million people are watching tonight." And I'm like, thanks.
Ben, you just did the middle finger on the camera.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, I feel kind of. Did Steven explain what it was that had offended him?
No, he's on a work call.
Right gotcha.
So he's probably not listening. We did have, I think this person left, but we did have another viewer who commented. I was getting a little worried because their username has knife emojis in it, and they just commented podcast.
Hey.
All right.
Yeah. Well,
that's what
right
this is.
You are. It is that's what's happening. So there is a thing happening in Oklahoma. There's a guy that I follow on Twitter, Forrest Valkai, and Forrest Valkai is a science teacher. Talks about science a lot.
Can I guess what you're about to say?
What's that?
The thing happening in Oklahoma?
Yeah, go ahead and guess.
Is it where they are they're submitting legislation that will fire teachers if they teach biology that goes against Christian thinking.
You're so close, Ben.
So close.
It's
Oklahoma.
Worse. It's worse than that.
They're going to jail the teachers.
If you, as a teacher, teach something that offends a student's religious sensibilities,
right,
the parents of that student can sue you up to $10,000. And you, as the teacher, have to pay that out of your own pocket, and you cannot crowdfund to pay that fine.
And they wonder why the South is so far down the rankings in education in America.
Well, it's because the education rankings are biased, Ben. That's
biased towards intelligent, critical thinking.
Here's the thing that's it's reliant on critical thinking and logic and things like that, Ben. The amazing thing about that is that if they have it worded correctly, which I think they probably, or incorrectly, depending on how you look at it, the Church of Satan will, not the Church of Satan, I'm sorry, the Satanic Temple. Let's draw a distinction. Church of Satan, not great. Satanic Temple, pretty awesome. Satanic Temple is the one who puts the statue of Baphomet next to the Ten Commandments and stuff like that.
And what statue does the Church of Satan erect?
Church of Satan is just problematic, egotistical dudes sometimes, that whole thing.
Okay. I am unfamiliar with either of them.
Well, Church of Satan is the one that came first, I believe. But the Satanic Temple is the cool one.
I mean, I've heard of them, obviously, and I do know of some stories where they're not actually, like, they have reasonable values. They're not, doing, virgin sacrifices and all that.
Yeah, that's the same
stuff.
for both groups, I think.
But anyway, the Satanic Temple, in regards to this Oklahoma law,
so would probably do something. I don't know what they plan to do yet, but I will mention that the Satanic Temple, when Texas had the abortion shenanigan law that they were doing, where people could
yes,
like the actual citizens could sue the abortion.
You could sue an Uber driver for taking somebody to an abortion clinic.
Right, exactly. They did a thing where they made the morning after pill a sacrament of their church.
Nice.
So that you could take it and be protected under your religious things. I have another question, Ben.
Yes, Paul.
This is not Paul going to guess the news. This is Paul going to ask Ben about the news because Paul doesn't know.
Uh-oh.
There's a thing about Biden having a Supreme Court nominee.
Yes.
Who is no longer going to be on the Supreme Court?
Justice Stephen Breyer, who is one of the liberal voices, has announced he is retiring. So Biden, so the courts, the court won't change in its ideology. It'll still stay a 6-3 conservative majority. However, I have heard that based on what happened with Ruth Bader Ginsburg, a lot of people pressured, not a lot of people, maybe, I have heard that Justice Breyer was pressured into retiring while Biden still had a majority in Congress.
Yeah.
So we wouldn't go through the whole, like, because there's worry that the Republicans are going to take over the Congress again in 2020, this year. Oh my God.
Yeah.
and there's just going to be more obstructionism if Biden tries to appoint a judge to the Supreme Court. Should something happen,
there is a suggestion. I know that the thing that has been said about the January 6th folks,
yeah,
about how they're all set to be pardoned if the former president gets reelected.
right.
Which
doesn't make sense because those were all just Antifa, agents, right?
Well, Ben. Of course, what we're talking about is that, and please, I want to just let people know we are being sarcastic. If you didn't know, but Ben,
so is Edward. Those are sarcastic barks.
Those people were set up, you see, by the. This is what people will say, that they were set up by the feds. The Antifas were the actors. The Antifas. Hey, how are you doing? But the Antifa folks were the actors on it, and then good, hard-working Americans who were just there to look at the Capitol, Ben.
Right.
Pretty much.
It was just like a standard tour group.
Yeah.
I mean, last time I toured the Capitol, I was able to take away one of the lecterns through the rotunda.
Oh my gosh. Just Ben, it hurts my brain. We're old now. You realize we're old. We're older than a lot of the people that went there and did all that stuff.
Yeah. There are some we had a large portion of the Seattle Police Department attend the January 6th insurrection. I don't know if it's larger than any other municipality, but yeah, those
as
cops,
participants.
As participants, I don't know if they actually breached the Capitol, but I think just the fact that they were there is incriminating.
Yeah. Oh man, Jay Johnston.
I guess that question has been answered, huh?
Yeah. We have speculated on this podcast whether or not Jay Johnston was the guy, and apparently he was the guy.
Last time I looked at Snopes, which was before this latest news came out about being fired from Bob's Burgers, Snopes still said it was undetermined.
Undetermined, that's right.
But he was fired from at least one job. Anecdotal evidence says all the people who know him say that was him. Apparently, he was a supporter of our previous president, and so I feel bad. I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, how can you separating the art from the artist, right? I can't not think about that anymore when I watch him on shows like Mr. Show or Arrested Development.
I mean, he's just
Bob's Burgers.
Just good in Everest and physical comedy. So, okay, here's the thing.
Physical comedians can be Republicans too,
I didn't think they could be funny. I thought that was a. Oh, look who it is! It's Edward coming inside. Apparently, he wanted to be inside in the first place. Here he is. Oh, look!
Was he out of the room?
You've heard him before. He was outside, and the door was locked or shut. Hey, there he is, buddy. Okay, so do you know about the National Butterfly Sanctuary?
I do not know about the National Butterfly Sanctuary, but I am watching Peacemaker, and the villains are called butterflies. So I don't think this has anything to do with that.
So here's the interesting thing. This might be a scoop. I don't know how reliable it is, but there's a National Butterfly. I think it's Butterfly Sanctuary. National Butterfly Sanctuary that is having to shut its doors or shut down or something to that effect because of credible threats against their staff, because it is the new Pizzagate thing.
Oh my God, really?
People believe that the Butterfly Sanctuary is a front for child trafficking.
Ugh.
Now here's here's one thing that's interesting. If you go to the butterfly sanctuaries thing, and they say child trafficking, they bring illegal children over across the border by these
Carrying
rafts.
butterflies.
So, and like butterfly is code or something. Here's the thing. The National Butterfly Sanctuary, is in the path of where the border wall is supposed to be put. And that's why they've been fighting against the border wall so much.
So this
Joe
is
Biden,
yeah, okay,
this is something I learned.
Yeah.
Joe Biden actually is continuing the border wall construction, according to their website. When I say their website, I mean the Butterfly Sanctuary website. Like
there
it hasn't halted.
There are a lot of things we thought would come to a screeching halt when Biden took office that hasn't happened yet.
I'm sorry, Ben. Did you say we? You know me. I knew this was going to happen the whole time. Vermin Supreme. If he had won I'm glad that, here's the thing. I've told you this before, Ben. I am not a libertarian.
Anymore.
The mask stuff and the fact that nobody was doing it showed me that we as a community where I live would not be able to handle everybody look out for themselves. I mean, everybody look out for everybody else. You know, we're a community. We'll take care of each other. We don't need any laws, things like that. Not true. Not true. Absolutely not true. We do not take care of ourselves. We do what we want, and everybody else can go kick rocks, apparently. And again, it shows up in the hoarding of COVID kits. When COVID kits were in the stores, people just bought them all out. They had to limit them to 4 per person.
Right.
And people would buy them, and they had to change it to 4 per household instead of 4 per person because families were coming in and buying 4 each.
Yeah, I don't see why. I don't understand why this is a surprise. You look at any Walmart on a Black Friday, and you understand that communities don't care about each other. They just care about themselves. People don't care about their communities. They just care about themselves.
People keep on trying to get us to join the Nextdoor app for our neighborhood, and we won't do it. Does that mean that we don't? No, I mean, we like our neighbors. Our neighbor suggested or wanted to know if he wanted to know if we wanted him to salt our driveway, but our driveway is gravel. So,
do you guys have snow? I'm assuming you're at least icy.
Ben, we have
there.
So much snow.
Really?
Oh, I brought up snow and I didn't even imagine that, Ben. I didn't even talk about. Yeah, we have like I don't know what the full total is, but we were expected to get 8 to 10 inches.
Wow.
And there are winds, so it's causing drifting, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Cool.
Pretty crazy.
So y'all are homebound right now?
Yep.
I guess snowbound is also
snowbound. Do you remember that song Snowbound, Ben?
I do not remember the song Snowbound.
By David Fagan, I believe is his last name, from the band Steely Dan.
Steely Dan.
Solo album Snowbound. The reason I wanted to know if you knew about it is because the video was directed by none other than a young French upstart at the time, Michel Gondry.
Ah, yes, I know that name.
Yeah. I wonder what he's up to.
Probably making some weird art.
I don't want to look it up. What if he's totally for... I like fascism now, says Michel Gondry. Who's to say? Who's to say?
Yeah.
I still remember when I was a kid, Ben. This was in 6th grade. We were learning about all sorts of different methodologies of government and stuff. And little 6th grader Paul was like, I think isolationism makes a lot of sense. What do we care about other countries for? Let's close all of our borders.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
That seems to work.
Ugh. I was like, we're all the way over here. No one cares that kind of thing.
Who cares what goes on in Europe? There's a whole ocean in between us.
Yeah.
Steven says he's listening now, so we need to make with the funny.
Uh-oh. Hey, butts are crazy. You ever see one of them things, Ben?
I saw a Reddit post today where somebody had gone in for a colonoscopy, and the one of the doctors found a rolled up note in his butt cheeks, and when he unrolled it, it said, "Hello, we've been trying to reach you about your car's extended warranty." I mean, who knows if that's true, but it was a funny bit.
It is funny, and I know a couple of people who might do something like that. Hey, did I ever tell you that? Okay, speaking of finding a note where you didn't expect to, I don't think that we were doing the podcast at this time. This is back when I was still working in Seattle, and I don't know if I ever told you this. I was in a school pulling cable for low volt electrical stuff, and one of the things that you do there, Ben, I don't know if you know this, but you go up above the ceiling tiles.
Yes.
Right? You go in there. One of the cool things is that when you're above the ceiling tiles, if you're nervous about being on a ladder, scared of heights or anything, go above the ceiling tiles, all of a sudden your sense of danger goes away because the floor
level
stable.
Like right here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I'm looking up there, and there are all these letters. I had stumbled upon a time capsule that a bunch of students had put in, and I took it to the school and asked them, hey, and they were not impressed by it. They did not seem at all interested.
They considered it vandalism?
Yeah, I don't know. I suppose so. But the thing that I remembered about this is that on Tuesday, people were supposed to put a time capsule together so that they could open it 11 years later, because it was 2222, and then they were supposed to open it on 3333 and see what had changed and all that.
Wow.
Which I think is pretty interesting. But funny. Let's see. So anyway, talking about butts again. Sheep have those butts. You can take a look at them, and that might be part of the reason why they're so popular among farmers in jokes, because you can spank the back of them and they'll jiggle and things like that. This is something that I learned.
Stealers. Well, I didn't I hear that one of the reasons why the sheep are so popular with farmers in that regard is because their lady parts are the closest to humans of any farm animal.
Well, Ben, I had never heard that before, but it would make sense. And here's what I mean by it would make sense. There are some jokes that make sense the more you if you actually understand things. So if we were farmers, we would know, and then we would know whether or not that joke was true.
Right.
This isn't a joke. This is a philosophical thing. But Plato, Ben, believed that the mind was like a wax tablet. And because I didn't have any experience with wax tablets when I heard that, I didn't really think about what it meant, but I was writing my password. And I was thinking, because I had changed it, I was like, oh, when I write my password, it's hard for me to remember it. But after I've written it a couple of times, eventually, I know it like the back of my hand. And I realized that repetition, if you think about a wax tablet, writing the same word over and over again on a wax tablet, eventually it will make a deeper impression and be more clear. I think that's why he was saying it. Not just because of the way things were, but because of a principle of how the mind works. Also, from what I understand, elephants have boobs, Ben. True story.
Sexy.
Yeah,
sexy elephants. And if you compliment them or say anything about their boobs, they will never forget it.
Yeah, that's true. Always bringing it up. All right, so you cross an elephant with a sheep, and you're off to the races.
And that's how God created man.
Exactly, that's right. I want a man with boobs and the downstairs parts of a sheep. I think you're describing a woman, sir. A what now?
Nope. I said an elephant and a sheep.
So I do like Alan Moore. You did something with Alan Moore in the panel jumper just a little while ago, I believe.
Yeah, we talked about Alan Moore and his title Big Numbers.
Alan Moore has one of the I think one of the best interpretations of the Adam's rib in Genesis. That it's a description that has been passed down through the ages of mitosis. That Adam, the Eve springing from Adam's side, is describing cellular division.
Right.
And so it's a metaphor for asexual reproduction becoming sexual reproduction. And that's what Genesis is. Haha. It's very exciting. Someone said that I look kind of like Gene Shalit. I can see it.
I hadn't thought of Gene Shalit in a while. You need some like black rim glasses to pull that off.
We've talked about this for a little bit, Ben, but I'm going to say it again. As you know, I was not raised Jewish, but I have a Jewish enough appearance that anti-Semites will latch onto it.
Yes. We've discovered this.
So does that make me Jewish? And I would say this would be an interesting thing for rabbis to argue about. And I'll go one further. I think they probably have. And so if I was really interested, I could do research and find out. And so I'm thinking about doing it.
Well, you can become Jewish. You can convert.
Oh, no, but I'm not talking about converting.
You're talking about, are you Jewish because you look?
No. Am I Jewish because anti-Semites consider me Jewish? If I suffer...
Well, sort of a Jewish by proxy, I suppose. I don't think anybody would consider you Jewish, but you're absorbing some hardship that might be given to somebody else.
I'm thinking the answer is no. That's my guess.
I'm thinking the answer is no too.
But again, I would. Here's the thing. I'm thinking the answer is no. I would still like to read the conversation.
This is something you brought up with the rabbis you spoke with when you were pursuing this a few years ago?
No, I didn't really bring that up. The rabbis I was talking to, I only really talked to one rabbi. I was talking to a rabbi. I was talking to a cantor who, a cantor does have ideas and will talk to you about things, but it's not the same thing. So it would be interesting. Yes, I could obviously talk to more as well. I was really interested in it, and then it became too much of a hassle. And I feel, and by that also what I mean is, of course, on the Sabbath, not driving, but Jennifer and Betty not being interested in doing that. And this is actually something that the rabbi brought up, like when I was first looking at it. It was like, here's the thing. There's a lot of it is about family. If your family's not into it, maybe don't, because it's actually more important to have a good relationship with them than to do any of this religious study, which I thought was nice.
Yeah.
And the other thing that I feel like is true is that there is a difference between following a specific religious thing and being a person. And I could be wrong. It's going to be different depending on who you're talking to and all that. But when people go looking for gurus, tell me what to do, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
They're seeking something. If you're no longer seeking something, if you're just a person doing stuff, going to a rabbi and being interested in Judaism and like I want to convert to Judaism or whatever, that's one thing, right? How do I do this? How do I do this? If I'm just me, if I'm just Paul and I'm interested in stuff and want to talk to a rabbi about something, but I'm not asking, this is the important part, not asking them to do their job, but just having a conversation, I think it would be much easier for them.
Not asking them to do their job, which
Right.
is
Not coming to them and saying, hey, as a Jewish scholar, I would like you to tell me what I need to do in order to become Jewish, right?
right.
But instead say, hey, I'm Paul, I have some Jewish heritage, and I'm wondering, there's I experienced anti-Semitism. I didn't know that I was experiencing it at first, and then as I got to know what was happening, it made a little bit more sense. Do you have any advice? Like, what should I think about it? What should I do? That might be a more interesting conversation than just I'm experiencing anti-Semitism. Am I Jewish now? That is not the question that you want to ask, right? This is what I'm saying.
Yeah. No, I think, yeah.
Asking them to make a judgment about what should I be considered, that's a job thing. Just saying, hey, this stuff is happening to me. I'm interested in your thoughts on it and maybe what I could do, because this might be something that affects both of us,
Well, I mean,
it's a different conversation.
What would you be able to do, though? I mean, what can you imagine them telling you? Just to, just be sure to reply and say, I'm not Jewish, go bother somebody else? Or...
No. Oh, my God. That would be the number one thing not to do. I don't
not going to say that. So, I mean, don't engage. That's just a general rule
right.
that we've learned in terms of trolls on the internet.
Yeah.
Like, have you experienced anti-Semitism in person? Or just online?
Yeah, no, in person, a couple times. Not great. For me anyway, whenever it happens, I don't know what to say. Because it seems so unrealistic. It's like I've been called people have said homophobic things to me before. And when they do, I usually have no reaction. I have no retort.
Right.
I'm just stunned, and then I leave. That's really what I would do in that situation too.
I mean, that's what you should do.
But there's a thing about, it's Black History Month, as we know. There is a thing that one of the TikTok creators that I follow says, which is that only white people can heal white people. And what he means is, he says, I am Black. It's not that people won't necessarily listen to me. It's that, I do not have the white experience. I don't know what it is like to be a white person. If you come to me and you say, I hate all these other white people, they're so racist, you're not doing anything for me at all.
Right.
You have to go back to those white people and heal them. And he has this he has a book and things like that, and he wants to build healing centers and stuff because he knows how to tell white people how to do the thing. He just can't do the thing.
I think that's
that kind of thing.
The issue that a lot of marginalized people have with white people is that there's a lot of performative allyship, but not a lot of concrete action.
And so that's my question is, if that would be my question. If I experience this anti-Semitism thing, is there something that I should be doing as this weird? I was going to use an allusion to the film Blade, but that's not right? As a person who would have been Jewish if raised in a Jewish household, but I come from a situation where neither of my parents' families acknowledge any Jewish ancestry. And then I was also raised by adoptive parents. So I am seen as Jewish by anti-Semites, but have been brought up as a white guy with no Jewish,
Right.
Culture. Is there something I should be doing different? And, again, this is one of those things of you can't ask a rabbi that, because he will say, what do you want me to say? What are you talking about? It's an insane thing. What we're getting at here, Ben, is I am crazy. I have problems.
I also, Steven just commented, this is a super long joke setup, so I just want to say something for Steven. The aristocrats.
Yeah, that's right. Do we tell jokes, Ben? Did we tell jokes? We must have had some kind of.
I think all of our jokes never really kind of fell flat. I don't remember ever saying a joke during a performance and it being like a funny joke.
Yeah. My joke, the joke that I believe that I have made up. I'm sure I've said it before on this podcast before. Other people have now done it, I'm sure, but this is decades old. The ninja walks into a bar. Bartender says, "You can't bring those throwing stars in here," and the ninja says, "Shuriken."
Yep.
My favorite joke. I believe I wrote it. And there you are, Steven. Joke time has occurred. Oh, Ben, were you with me? I believe you were with me when the guy out. I think we were at University Village, and there was a guy who said that if we gave him $1, he'd tell us a $1 joke. We gave him $5, he'd give us a $5 joke.
I don't remember that specific instance. But I have encountered that style of panhandling before.
And I gave him $2. And he said, there are these two Irishmen trying to go and walk off to their motorcycles, and they saw a dog licking itself. And the one Irishman said, "I'd like to try that." And the other Irishman said, "You got to pet him first."
Yep.
And I said, "What would have happened if I had given you $5? Oh, what would a $1 joke be?" And he said, "Oh, it would have just been these two guys were walking out of a bar. Since you gave me $2, they were Irishmen walking to their motorcycles." It's like, what would a $5 joke be? He's like, "Well, they would have had names. I would have told you what breed the dog was." And I found it fascinating. I like it a lot. If ever I had to start panhandling, I would do the exact same thing.
Yeah.
But did I tell you that I did panhandle? I just didn't think of it as panhandling until eventually I realized that I had panhandled.
You accidentally panhandled. You accidentally, asked. You accidentally asked for money.
I needed change for a phone machine. A phone machine, Ben.
A phone machine. That's what we called them back in the day.
I needed money to use a payphone, so I asked a guy if I had like a quarter, but it was like 35 cents or something like that. So I asked for a nickel, and a guy gave me $1, which was not useful for me.
Nope. Not at least.
But I realized why, and he was gone by that time. and I realized what he had done is he thought that I was asking for money.
You
and
were.
So he was doing me a favor, but I was asking for a specific type of money. And I imagined.
Also, you should have been asking for a dime, not a nickel.
Well, I think I already had a nickel. That was the thing. It was 35 cents. I had a quarter and a nickel. I feel as though I did not say anything. I was like, well, okay, and I kept it. But imagine if I would have said, no, I need a nickel. He would have had a story about how there's this homeless guy. Because you remember the security at your building once got called on me because I was waiting for you to hang out, and they walked over to me, and they were like, this is a private area. And I was like, I know, I work here. And they're like, you work here. I'm like, well, no, I work at Amazon.
Yes.
Do you remember that?
It was during that. I don't remember that, but it was during that era.
Back when I was using socks with holes in them for my gloves.
And I wonder why the security guards in the building thought you were a suspicious
I'm not
character.
saying they were wrong. I'm just saying that
this guy's got socks on his hands.
But I will go careful. What? Who knows? Because this is the thing: is I realized that you could make gloves out of socks. You just cut 4 spaces in the end part. Yeah, exactly.
These aren't socks, but it's sort of a bit of an illustration of what just imagine these were mittens.
Yep, exactly. That's right. And you put the thing in the hole. You put a hole where the thumb would be. It works great. I might make some just so that I can feel something. Anyway, that's been the podcast. I think we still have a little bit more to go.
3 minutes.
Yeah, we got about 2.5 minutes. I haven't seen this, but I'm thinking about watching a series on HBO Max. Season 2 is just coming out, which means that season 1 was probably pretty good, called Raised by Wolves. Have you heard of Raised by Wolves?
Yes, it is a Ridley Scott junction, and I heard that it the people I know who've watched it cannot say nice things about it.
Oh, no, that's not.
Yeah.
They cannot say nice things.
They cannot say nice things about it. I think I don't know. It has something to do with Ridley Scott's name being attached, I think, where they were expecting a lot more from it.
Oh.
And, I've not seen it, but the people I know who've watched it they hate watched it. They finished watching it, but they hated the show.
Are they people that I know?
Why do you even do that? Yeah, Cole Hornaday is the person.
Oh, Cole and I usually have very similar tastes, so I wonder how I'll feel about it. Maybe we'll talk to Jennifer about it. Hey, Jennifer, what's up?
He gave me a tip, so it's an even 2,000.
Oh my goodness, Jennifer, can you come here and talk about it? We've got about 2 minutes left.
Is this something she wants to mention?
Jennifer is a audiobook producer, as we know.
I'm an audiobook producer. Hello. And I just finished up the first book that I sold, actually got paid, not in royalties, but in actual money.
South American
Daros,
Cougarans.
Daros,
South African
by Dave Dobson. No, he's not South African. That's another person.
Okay.
And
No, I'm kidding. Sorry. Start over. I apologize.
Anyway, and so the per finished hour rate was $125, but he gave me a tip, so I got $2,000. Anyway, it'll be coming out in the next few weeks. Daros, Daros. It is a space epic, and it's fantastic, and I hope you will all get it. And if you want to get it for free, all you have to do is contact me, and I will give you a code to get it once it's out.
Is this on Amazon? Is it on Audible? How do we get this?
It's on Audible. It's on anywhere.
Amazon.
Audible and Amazon. Knock the mic over. Audible and Amazon.
Excellent.
So yeah,
well, congratulations for the nice little payday.
Yeah, and yeah, it's actually a thing that's happening.
I have not listened to a full book that Jennifer has read, but I have heard snippets, and it sounds really great.
She's really good. Obviously. She's
You
Jennifer
are
Pratt.
Supposed to say that.
I have to say it because it's true. She's already.
Good save.
I need to be clear. I am absolutely serious. She is one of the best actors I know. And so obviously the audiobook stuff is she has made books that I have no interest in listening to interesting, which is a very hard thing to do. And on that note, Ben,
And with that,
I hope that you will keep it wrong between now and the next time we have a podcast.
indeed, which should be next Thursday. Keep it wrong, Paul. I'll
Next
talk to you
Thursday.
later.
Keep it wrong, Ben. Talk to you later.
Bye.